We know that there's been talks about more and more moves happening with San Francisco. One of those moves, obviously, is the trade of Brandon Aiyuk. We know that the Niners are listening to offers for trades for Brandon Aiyuk. I know there's a lot of talk about, well, that's going to lead to a lot of dead cap, but it is going to free up a ton of cash that they'd have to pay out to Brandon Aiyuk in terms of bonuses that start April 1st. So, yes, they get to save money on not giving him that straight cash money, but they do take a dead cap hit, which I think they're willing to take because it feels like there's a bit of kind of nervousness in terms of Brandon Aiyuk. You know, is he going to be the same player that he was 2 years ago, or is he going to be a diminished version of Brandon Aiyuk after you sign him to a big, huge deal? Real quick, Al, let me ask you, do you think the Niners feel more inclined to want to move on from Brandon Aiyuk, or do you think that they're going to try and hang on to him?
You know, this one, when I saw it, I couldn't believe what I was reading after what we went through last
Nobody
week.
could. I was like, are you kidding me?
You know what I mean? With the constant trade news and the contract going to the last minute, I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Now, I think the Niners, the mindset they have now to move on from these contracts, it's a year too late. Williams and McCaffrey took you to the woodshed last year, as did Aiyuk contract-wise.
Right.
But McCaffrey is going to be 29. He's an older for a running back. Williams is obviously in his late 30s. Those guys were older, and they gave them a new contract anyway. If you look at Aiyuk, he's young. He was durable. He's a guy that was going to be that next core to build with Purdy. But there was clearly a disconnect with whether it was, I don't know if it was Prague and Jed and Kyle, whoever, that some people obviously did not want to give him that contract. If they did, it wouldn't have taken as long as it did. So now what happens is he has a really serious knee injury. Who knows what he's going to come back? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Now the Niners are like, all right, we didn't want to sign, not I don't want to say everybody with the Niners, but certain people within the Niners are like, we didn't want to sign him to this contract anyway. And now he's hurt. So if we can get out of this, we want to get out of this. That's kind of what I feel like it is, but it's so insane. For a team that won so many games, I feel like to be going through this roster-wise and with some of the decisions that they've made, it's nuts. And it's starting to come to fruition now with, you look at the Lance trade and we're like, well, they found Purdy, it's fine. But those drafts from 2021 to 23 are the reason they have so many issues right now, that they have so many holes, that they've had to keep paying these aging stars because they didn't really bring any new ones in to replace these guys. They only drafted 4 defensive linemen since 2020. None of them have panned out. So I don't think they've drafted a tackler or a center in the last few years. So they haven't done anything with the trenches. And when that happens, you got to keep paying the older guys that you have, and they get old and they age out. Now, Aiyuk with that knee injury, there's no way he's coming back full strength this year. I mean, he can get back on the field, but that's a massive knee injury. He's going to have to work his way back. You hope he can be productive, maybe not 100% of Aiyuk, but even if he's 70% of Aiyuk this year, and then next year he's back to full strength. But you just don't know. It was a major injury, and it's a huge question mark. And right now it's kind of a black cloud that's hanging over them.
Well, it seems like with these contracts that they're so worried about in terms of they keep using the word cash in terms of how much cash they're kind of dealing out. It seems kind of short-sighted because, look, you just recently made a bunch of these deals and you knew this was going to happen, yet you let it happen. Now you're acting like, well, hey, wait a minute. This is a lot of cash we got to pay. We got to do something about this. And so part of me thinks that, like, look, are they really that naive that they didn't know that this much cash was going to be given out to all these players? I don't think so, unless Jed was just so naive that he let Parag and John and all of them make these decisions and like, oh, wait, this is going to hurt us? Well, I don't get it. I think what it is that I think they're really trying hard to establish the fact that, hey, look, we're trying to reduce how much money we're spending on all these players. Maybe if they won the Super Bowl, that might have changed some things, but they didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost, unfortunately. So I find it kind of strange that they're going about this free agency or this offseason saying, we're really tight on cash. And you hear guys like, Adam Schefter saying, oh, they're tough money situation that they're in. It's kind of like, wait, are they really in this bad situation when it comes to money? Aiyuk's next batch of money isn't due until April 1st option bonus, which is guaranteed. So if he's traded this month, all of that is transferred to the acquiring team. Only money the 49ers have paid that hasn't hit the cap yet is 80% of the original signing bonus. $18.4 million in dead money. So the trade would cost only $7.6 million in extra cap in 2025. That's a lot of numbers and a lot of words being that we're throwing at each other here. But at the end of the day, it sounds like they would actually save more money if they traded Brandon Aiyuk this month as opposed to, let's say, later in the offseason. I think there is an inclination that, hey, look, if we can get him out of here and save ourselves some money, then we can use that money to possibly sign another receiver. But then it sounds counterintuitive, right? Like, well, you're getting rid of a guy to sign another guy, but you're still paying him a ton of money. You're still taking a dead cap hit. And so, there's other options out there, such as like Devontae Adams is out there. We know T. Higgins is he's off the market. He's been franchised. But even guys like Devontae Adams or even Keenan Allen, who's been brought up by Matt Mayoko, that kind of goes against what John Lynch said at the combine, which was we want to get younger and we want to get cheaper. Faster. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like, so how are we going to do that if we're signing guys like Devontae Adams? Which, don't get me wrong, I'd be all for Devontae Adams coming here on a 1 to 2 year deal. I think that's where he fits in with the Niners if he were to come here on a short-term basis. But when you look at like the guys that are out there in terms of replacing, let's say you trade Brandon Aiyuk, so like the Patriots, whoever, and you likely get draft capital back. That means you no longer have Deebo Samuel. You no longer have Brandon Aiyuk. Can you really rely on a 1 and 2 of Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall?
I don't. Well, I think you saw what it was at the end of the season. The offense didn't look very good. Aiyuk isn't known as a burner, but he is somebody who can threaten a defense downfield. He's a good route runner. He can get open downfield. Jennings is a terrific. He's a tough player. Everybody loves Jennings, but Jennings runs like a 4.8 or 4.7.
Yeah, he's not fast.
So he's not really threatening anybody. Pearsall is a faster guy, but again, is he somebody who can take the top off the defense in terms of game speed? I don't think so. So I think Darius Slayton from the Giants is a perfect fit for the 49ers. I just absolutely perfect. He's a good player who can get deep. He just had no one to get him the ball. But like you said, he's going to cost a lot of money. So are the Niners going to go out and do that? They really need Aiyuk within the wide receiver room. If they don't have him, and they're probably not going to have him for at least the first half of the season. Yeah. If they don't have him, they have issues on offense, and they absolutely need a wide receiver. They 100%. I don't care how much they like the guys on their roster. They need another wide receiver, another veteran wide receiver. Whether they decide to do that with somebody like a Keenan Allen, or I heard Robert Woods, which doesn't excite me at all. No. But somebody like that on a 1-year deal just to help out. Okay, great. Devontae Adams for 1 or 2 years. You're not going to say no to Devontae Adams, depending on what the money is. But they're fooling themselves if they don't think that they need a veteran wide receiver, because they really do. I think they're in a little bit of trouble with the receivers if they don't get one. And if somebody gets hurt, they're in even more trouble. So they do have to add a vet there, which is crazy because we're talking about receiver and there's holes all over the defense. I mean, all over. You know what I mean? Receiver, because of what's happened with Deebo and the Aiyuk rumors, that's what a lot of people are talking about. But they have so many other issues.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more of this content, then check out some of these recommended videos right here on your screen. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by going to my website, which is nicotina.net, and there are memberships available under DreArea Sports.